So there's been quite a few things that have happened over this last month, one of which is the death of David Lynch. If you know me, you know I love David Lynch's work. I love surrealist stuff. I love everything the man did. I actually subscribed to the David Lynch Theatre channel to watch his his weather reports, even though I was nowhere near where those weather reports were related to. It was just a moment to see David, and occasionally the little shorts he'd do, his little choosing a number, all that kind of thing, and some of the music stuff that was later hasn't gripped me as much, I'll admit, but you don't have to like everything an artist puts out. It's totally fine to be, okay, that's not for me. But it is such a legacy. I mean, I did a video about, I think it was episode 8 of the revival of Twin Peaks, because that episode is so beautiful. There's very little dialogue, really. It's all very visual and interpretative, which is a core part of what makes David Lynch great. So much of his stuff is up to interpretation. And 90% of the time, if you said, hey, I thought this from, say, Mulholland Drive, he'd probably go, yeah, that's valid if that's what you think. Obviously, there are some things that, he'd probably correct you, like, that isn't the case, but for the most part, he did welcome people interpreting it, and, sometimes you wouldn't get it, and that's fine. That's growth, or the capacity to grow, to then make that understanding. Also, the fact that he was very much into the transcendental meditation movement, and part of my mental health treatment over the years has included mindfulness-based CBT, which has a meditation element to it under the mindfulness part. And I still sometimes do that now. I do 2-minute check-ins with myself. I probably don't meditate as much as I should, but I do know that it's useful, it's helped me, and it's a great way of recentering, if you can turn your mind off enough. I know it's not for everyone, but really, if you give it a go and it works for you, it can really change your well-being. As a psychologist, in training, yes, but I do think that anything you can do for your psychological well-being is a good thing. So that's a big loss. Additionally, I've started back at uni now, and I've started the optional module, and I'm looking forward to it. The reason I started doing it isn't so great from the assessment perspective, because we can choose a case study from any of the areas that are being talked about. And I came to it because I wanted to do the conspiracy theories. That's really fascinating. But the brief for that doesn't engage me at all. It does not do anything for me. So I'm probably going to choose something different. But, we're starting back in counselling. We're on person-centred approach at the moment, and that will carry on for a couple of weeks. Then we'll move through different modalities. We do have to talk about CBT, as much as I don't like the normal brand of CBT. It doesn't work for everyone, but it's measurable, and that's why the NHS loves it. But the other thing is something that's been a lifelong situation. And it probably contributed to what I talked about last month when we started the new year with that story time. So, for many years, people have said, oh, you're autistic. Sometimes as an insult, but sometimes not. Sometimes as genuine, I think you have traits. But I never sought a diagnosis. Because, for one, whenever I've sought diagnoses for stuff saying, like, I don't think I've just got anxiety or depression, there might be an overarching cause, it's often been shut down. It's like, oh, you just want something bigger so it sounds better on benefits claims or whatever, I don't know. Not that they actually pay attention to that anyway. But it's always been a reluctance that I've felt to give me diagnoses that actually answer the questions I think that need answering. So it's only starting university where I was like, okay, it might be good to get that. And probably about 2 years ago or so, a bit longer than that, I was talking about now I'm on the waiting list. So I did have my assessment in December, and in fact the day I'm recording this is the day I had my follow-up appointment to confirm or deny, and to explain some of where the deficits lie, etc. I will get a full report in a few days, maybe a week from now, which I could put a pinned comment with extra information if people really want it. But the outcome was that yes, I have autism. I am autistic. Again, I'll go into more detail of it down the line perhaps, but for now, I am validated. I am vindicated. I'm not just a bit weird. I have a neurodevelopmental disorder. This is something that has plagued me throughout my life, and sometimes has been a boon in the fact that I could read far more advanced stuff at ages that I shouldn't be able to, like reading newspapers at about the age of 5, without asking every 5 minutes, what does this word mean? That's pretty advanced. There is a separate condition, strangely enough, that I found out actually called hyperlexia, which you can just have that bit. But, you know, a lot of the social issues, I've always been one of those people who just floats around. I don't have massive core friend groups, and any friend groups I do engage with, I tend to gravitate towards the more intellectually gifted, as it were. I'm not saying that, you know, intellectual people are best, and if you're not one of those, you're useless and worthless to me, and you're stupid, and I don't want to know you. But I won't probably devote as much time to those people because I'm just understimulated. That's, you know, looking at it from the autistic, which literally means auto self. It's very self-centered in a proper non-judgmental, like not selfish kind of way. But that's it. So I've had those difficulties. I can't live independently. That is absolutely true. I cannot run a household on my own. It does not work. And even now, I only manage to survive in a social, you know, a society that we have because of things I've put in place, routines that I've built, an obsession with etiquette and the right way to do things. And also, it's given me the gift of languages. I am really good with languages because they have a very logical flow. You have syntax and grammar, and that makes sense. It answers a lot of questions. Does it mean I'm going to start suddenly doing like massive amounts of autism focused content? No, because that isn't what this channel was ever created for. It wasn't about my health. I mean, okay, at the start it was more about rights and things like that than media analysis, but we evolve, we grow. That's what I do now. It might mean that in these ones I talk about my experiences, yes, but I've always done bits and pieces on that with BPD, etc. And as it stands now, I don't know if the autism supersedes the BPD. You can theoretically have comorbidity because some stuff can have happened during your childhood that has created trauma that then develops into a personality disorder. But the fact that BPD is often misdiagnosed in girls instead of autism, and I have socialised in a very female way and in a female household, I didn't really have a strong male role model, it probably means that it supersedes it. But for now, we'll wait to see what the report says. And in case anyone's concerned, obviously my family and people who need to know first have been told before I even recorded this. But don't worry that, you know, I'm telling the world before anyone who matters. I've told people, it's fine. But that's it. So now I can move forward, and once I get the report, I can put that forward to university and say, what can you offer? I can put it through to student finance, the disabled student allowance side of that, and say, is there anything else you can give me for this? I can put it through to benefits claims, even though I mentioned it before. That wasn't the reason, but I am fighting that now, even though I've not changed. They're just being awkward with it, and I'm having to fight it, so I can send that forward as further evidence. This is a professional who has diagnosed that, yes, they acknowledge and accept and agree and put it on a report that I have these deficiencies in functioning. So this might be the turning point that I need. A lot of people say, you know, don't self-diagnose, and, you know, like, diagnosis isn't the be-all end-all as well. But I kind of self-diagnosed for a while, but I always said suspected. Now I can take that word off. And the issues I was having before I could take that word off still exist because I've been able to take the word off. Like, the experiences and issues are still there. I just now have the word to associate with them. A diagnosis can be a tool for validation, but also for assistance. And that's what this is for me. So, yeah, quite a positive way to end. So this next month I've got a few things planned. I've done what I've normally tried to do, at least at the start of the semester, even if I don't keep it up, and got a few banked. So no worries at the start of the semester. See how it goes. But until next time, thank you for watching. And yeah, take care.